Hello everyone, Neil for T-Shares here, coming at you with another video for TETRA, where we automate your DeFi. Today, we're going to look at ratio trading using OMNIS. We're going to see how to do it, the math behind it, and how these tools can aid you in increasing your positions in the marketplace. So, without further ado, let's take a look at that now, shall we? So what are ratios in crypto? Ratios in crypto are representations of the amount of tokens on each side of the pairs on the dexes. So for instance, the Pulse plus X pair may have a ratio at times of 1 to 4, meaning there are 4 times as many Pulse X tokens as there are Pulse tokens in the pool at a specific point in time. And sometimes that ratio is represented as the inverse, whereas if you have Pulse X tokens, you want to trade for Pulse tokens, you only get 0.25 Pulse tokens for every Pulse X token. So in these examples, these ratios represent the exact same amount. It's just it's displayed in different ways depending on which token you're holding and want to trade into. So how do you make money ratio trading then in crypto? Well, what you want to do is increase your token count. So in this example, let's say you had 1 Pulse token and you traded and you got 4 Pulse X tokens. Now, over time, with activity in markets, the ratios change. So what would happen then, if you had an example to where the ratio then changed as you held those 4 Pulse X tokens from 1 to 2. Now, in Pulse terms, the value of Pulse X's went up because now you get fewer Pulse X tokens for your Pulse. So you have fewer tokens in the pool, and this has gone up in value in Pulse terms. So in those 4 tokens that you had, you could trade back into Pulse for twice as many. So you have 4 Pulse X tokens. Now you can trade them and get 2 Pulse tokens. In essence, you've now 2x'd your original bag by ratio trading. And that, in essence, is how you make money ratio trading in crypto. Now let's take a look at Dex Screener and see how you need to set it up and look at it so you can maximize these options you have using OMNIS' tools by ratio trading. Okay, let's take a look at this Pulse X chart on Dex Screener. So here we have the default chart when you pull it up. I got it set in 1 hour just for this example. But if you look on the right, the default expression is in dollar value. Well, you can't not use dollar value to ratio trade and get a good metric to understand. What you need to do here is click this button up here and look at it in Pulse terms. And the chart looks completely different, as you can see. Because now it's represented in Pulse terms how much Pulse you can get for Pulse X. See, it takes right now is at 0.3908 Pulse you get for every to get 1 Pulse X, and that's the value. And this is the ratio number you need to look. A dirty little secret that if you don't pay attention to the ratios is people will come over here and say, hey, look how good my charts look in dollar terms. Because when Pulse pumps, it pulls everything up because it has bonded liquidity with most tokens in the Pulse chain ecosystem. So, of course, their tokens will go up in dollar value terms. But the actual value in Pulse terms, if you go to look, more than likely will be the inverse and more likely will show you a chart going down. Because their valuation is only in dollar value, not in true asset ratios in the pairs, as we discussed before. So always beware when people post charts because this may not be true value in Pulse terms, only true value in USD terms. All right. Well, that being said, we can see this here now on Dex Screener is, I'll zoom in. We have a chart showing a ratio of 0.3908 at the moment. Okay. So that's how many, one Pulse X will get you 0.3908 Pulse. That's what the ratio means. So if you're trying to acquire tokens, what you want to do is say, I want to buy low, sell high, right? So if I were to make a trade here, I would need the price to come up here to have a better ratio to get more Pulse for every Pulse X. So if we use the tools in Dex Screener and look at the range, and we do this, see that the last local high, that's a 1.88%. So if I want to gain 1.88% more tokens in my bag, I would need to acquire here and then trade out of here, and I would have acquired this 1.88% increase in my token count. And that's what you're trying to do. Now let's look at OMNIS. Now let's keep this in mind and let's think about this. Let's look at OMNIS with tools that we have now and about to be updated and added to this tool set to see how we can utilize these tools to claim these extra tokens in the trades. Because you can see right here, somebody dumped really hard with a big sell. Well, had you been here, you could have bought them up, and then you could have sold them here and gained a small profit or in token count. You could have gained 0.8% more tokens, you see. And this is what you have to look at these charts and make plans. So let's look at OMNIS, then we'll come back here and how to think about this and make a good plan of attack to ratio trade. Right now, just to get a little bit better where we are currently, it's 0.39. But let's say we want to, where the market's at that point, let's say we want to go, say, 2% better than the market rate. Well, now I have I set a slider, and I need the price to go to 0.397 as a ratio, which the price would have to go about right here. There you go. So if I would have purchased then down here and then sell back here, I would increase my position by around 5.84% in the net. Or in reality, if you got gas and stuff to take account of slippage. If my 2.65 Pulse X tokens I acquired on the beginning of the trade, I now sell and trade those back, I will now end up with 0.049515 more Pulse tokens than I started, which is about almost 5% increase, which is not too far from the little graphic because I'm not dialed in exactly. So I'm making about 5% on my trade. I increased my token count 5%. And this is in essence how you use limit orders to do these type of tools. And we have availability to edit limit orders too. So once you set this, I'll show y'all real quick. Okay, so I went ahead and set a limit order, and I want to show you how to edit limit orders. So I had 100 pulse. I set a limit order down here, and OMNIS displays the limit order. So I'm trying to get 100 pulse, and I picked a target rate of to get 262 pulse X. So I need the price to hit. It displays exactly the ratio price in pulse terms of where it needs to hit to deploy based on my slippage and all. And then it shows its active status and when it will expire, in this case about 7 days from now. But now we've added the edit function. So we can hit edit. And what if we want to change the ratio? We can't change the initial bound, but we can change how much we get. What we think, you know what, I think either I would predict the market goes up and I get more, or maybe the price will go down further, or maybe the market's going to run it against me and I don't want to miss my position, I'll take less. Either way, you can come in here, let's say we make this an 8. Now I'll get even more Pulse X, expecting a larger drop in the ratio. I hit sign, and then you just sign it. There's no gas cost, and you hit update, and it updates it, as you can see here. And now your limit order has been updated, reflecting, say, what you perceive as a better position or to correct a position in the market. And if, let's say, and then you don't have to worry about canceling it this way. You can just edit it and just stay in position as the market moves. But if you decide to cancel it, you can just cancel it, and the choice is yours. You can also see info on the trade too. And now the market price was at here, and you're waiting for the market price to come down to here for the trade to execute. So we're at 0.3919 ratio. Now we need to go to 0.3535. So if we go back to the deck screener, current price is here, and we need to be 0.3535, which is somewhere around here, which is a 10% drop in price. That's what I'm expecting with this trade. That's what it represents. So that's how you have to think about these things using these tools with OMNIS. So this is a new feature that's about to be released on the next update. And then we're going to take a look at compound limit orders, and I'll walk you through how to do one next. Okay, the next feature coming out is compound limit orders that we'll have from OMNIS. And compound limit orders are the first step in automation in the process. So just as our first limit order we had 100 pulse, and we were expecting 282 pulse X. But if our goal is to increase our pulse bag, compound limit orders are a more efficient way to do it because you can do it with one transaction. So here's our 100 pulse, and we hit next. Now, what we'll do is we'll set this to 282, just like we ordered the previous one. About like that. And now hit next again. And so this is your first limit order, right? You're going from 100 pulse, just like the static limit orders to pulse X. But now I want to trade back. What if I want to trade back now to get more tokens? If I just get just a little bit better than the market rate post this, I will receive 10 more pulse tokens than I started with. There's nothing wrong with that. But if I want a little bit more, if I expect the price to move again a little bit more, maybe I'd go to here to another, say, 5% more. Now I'll end up with 115 pulse tokens in the net once the price moves to these 2 points, assuming it does. And so I have one limit order to here, and the second limit order is taking that 282 and selling it back for 115 pulse when that time happens in the ratios. Okay, because that means if you see here, the price point would have to go to 0.4 for this to work out of the ratio. So we go back to pulse X, 0.4 is up here, right? So we're buying it down here at 0.35, and then we're going to then sell back up here to 0.4. Yeah, 0.409. So it's about where I'm at. So then we're going to take it and we're going to have a 13% increase in price from this bottom that we're expecting to hit to sell, and then thus increasing our position in a total by 15% net. So you got 10% drop and 5% up. It's a 15% total. And that's how you have to think about these things and using these tools with OMNIS, these compound limit orders. And then you can set a stop loss. If the price goes against you, by, say in this case, you can slide it however you want it, by a lot or very little. And 10% is like a default, which is fine. You can then be protected and not have to worry about losing out your position if the price goes against you. Okay, you get 10% fewer tokens and get out if there's a massive price swing way out of your range. Okay, you hit next, and then you can place your compound limit order. You change, just like the regular stack limit orders, you can change your time, and see the fees are about the same. The only difference is you cannot edit once these are started because of the nature of the technology. So there's no editing here, but it's compounded. So once you have them set, then it'll go. So you hit place compound limit order. We pay our gas and our fees. We confirm both 2 limit orders from one. Pay the transaction fee, and then once it populates and it goes through the network, you'll see it at the bottom, just like you saw before with the thing. So now we have our compound limit order set. And you see, we start with 100 pulse. We're expecting 282 pulse X in the middle, and then when the price goes back for us and changes, and the price goes up on a pulse compared to pulse X, we should end up with 115.53 pulse, less gas and slippage at the market rate. It depends on the wicks and everything else. Now, what happens is this blue check mark shows up. When this trade happens, this number 2 will turn to a blue check mark saying, hey, you now have pulse X in your wallet. Then, let's say you decide to cancel it, and you cancel at that point, you'll receive the pulse X because your first limit order was deployed. And then once this is deployed and blue check mark, and you're waiting on this, when this happens, it just finishes and you can go to order history and it'll show up and you'll have the 115.53 roughly pulse back in your wallet, thus increasing your position in this particular trade by 15% using these tools. So this is the power of compound limit orders and with using tools like OMNIS. And this is how you ratio trade also. So what TETRA is doing, and Stu and the team they've created these tools that allow the users to better themselves in their positions in the market in an automated way. And once TETRA comes out with the Atlas and Stratus and have automation services through the drag and drop user interface, these tools will be the backbone of how those things function, allowing you to automate all kinds of strategies using OMNIS's technology and its aggregation methods to increase and facilitate all your earning potential through these methods. But it's going to be up to you as the individual to set your positions and look and do your own TA. So DEX screeners and tools like this, you look at market sentiment in pulse terms and you say, well, what's the trend, right? The trend is your friend. Everybody says all these things and say, oh, here we are. And using tools like this, it's possible to do long-term plays, say for months at a time, and get massive position increases, or short-term plays where you look at things on the 1 minute chart or whatever and zoom in, and you can say, well, maybe I want to trade in short ranges in 1% and 2%, or to increase my position. Then choice is yours. So for this example, this was a massive wick down. Somebody who could have picked up tokens really, really cheaply here compared to up here, and then wait to sell them here or anywhere else. See, and using compound limit orders, you could have bought here at this low, sold here, and bought back again this low, and increase your position in Pulse X terms. See, so all these things are options you have, and it's good to use these tools that are out there, because it makes your positioning and makes your experience much better overall on the blockchain. Well, I hope you found this video informative and about ratio trading with OMNIS and using these tools that we're bringing to the blockchain through TETRA. Thank you for coming to this channel. If you would, please like, share, and subscribe. And there'll be links in the description below for our Telegram at t.me/GoTetra. Well, that's all for today, folks. I hope that you enjoyed it. And this is Neil for T-Shares signing off with another video for TETRA. Have a nice day and take care.